All right, my YouTube family, welcome to Jason Gardening and More. Thank you so much for being here. Make sure so that's even. Thank you guys for being here. Remember to subscribe, like. Today we are going to be adding the worms, the live, alive worms into the compost bin. We got our worms from Uncle Jim's worms. So we're going to get some Uncle Jim worms and we're going to put them in the bin. Again, remembering that we already set up our bin a few days before. People say a week before, but you know, a few days will mash you up. And we have the cardboard bedding, we have some soil in there, or a few big pieces of food scraps in there, and that's what we'll be using to manage the worm bin. So let's go ahead and open the worm. Today, we're going to start with the 100 worms, right? I have 600 total. One bin came with 500 worms, and the other bin came with, whoa, I'm sorry. One bin came with 100 worms, and the other bin came with 500 worms. So we have 600 worms total. So right now, what I'm going to do for you guys is I'm going to open these worms. They tie the bag tight, so I'll use some brute force to get that open so you know the worm's not going anywhere. Give me a second, let me just come over here. Open the worms. I might just cut it, but we'll see. Oh, never mind, we're good to go. Uncle Jim's worm bin. So as you can see, when you look inside here, you only see soil. The reason you only see soil is because the worms essentially go towards the bottom, right? So what I want to do for you guys is just take a handful of worms so you can see them moving. They're alive and well. They're healthy. Look at those worms. Look at those worms. Activity. Activity. Right? And we're going to take the worms and we're just going to put them in the middle here. Bam. There's a bit of soil as well. Don't worry about the soil, that's perfectly fine. If you have a bit of soil in the compost, that's perfectly fine. We'll have our first 100 worms in. Just to show you guys, these are the European red crawlers. You can see them, they're moving around. They're very active, very alive, from Uncle Jim's worms. You see that? And this is what we're going to put in our compost worm bin. And we'll just put them in the middle here, just so you can see. So you can already see them crawling around. See those guys moving around. We don't want to spread them out too much. We don't want to agitate them. We don't want to upset these worms. But we do want them inside the bin. You can see a few of them here. And we'll leave them in at the top. They came with some compost, some peat moss mixed in. And these guys will find their way to the bottom eventually. The next step here is getting the 600 worms available. I won't do all 600 because I want to give my friend a few of these as well. So I will not put everything in there, but I'll put most of the worms in. Again, open up Uncle Jim's bag. There's a bunch of soil at the top, but once you dig around, you'll find that these worms are clustered in a big cluster. See a bunch of these worms. You see them? Look at that. Healthy worms. They're still moving around. Uncle Jim usually gets them to us in about 72 hours. So they're always healthy, always fresh. Look at that. Beside my face. Look at that. See all these worms? And we'll go ahead and put these in our worm bin. So same concept here. I'm gonna grab the worms. And I'll leave some here at the top so you can see them. See them there? They like to cluster up. And that's okay, that's perfectly fine. They'll find their way in the bottom of the bedding eventually. But just so you can see the worms clustering up there. All of these guys, look at this. All of these guys. And we'll leave them in the bin so they can get acclimated. Once they get acclimated, in a couple of days, we'll feed them, maybe 4 or 5 days, and we'll feed these worms. It does come with some soil. That's perfectly fine. There's some worm castings in here as well. We'll go ahead and just put the soil in. Again, no problem if you have a bit of soil in there, a bit of peat moss. That's perfectly fine. Just to cover the worm. And essentially inside the bag, there's just soil. So we'll just go ahead and sprinkle. There's a few worms in here still. See if I can find 1 or 2. And we'll just put them in the bin. And from there, we'll leave these bins alone. Let them do their thing. Let them cherish maybe 1 or 2, maybe a week before we, agitate the worms and get them to start moving around, feeding these worms. But again, we don't want to bother the worms too much because they've been in transit for 72 hours. So we do want to leave them alone to let them get acclimated to their new environment. So if you see here, a lot of them are already covered up, right? Here's one right here. They're still alive, still breathing, but we still have them in their natural habitat, essentially, as best as we can to ensure these worms go down to the bottom, which they're already kind of starting to move to the bottom. And then from there, we'll go ahead and we'll feed them food scraps for the next year, really. So again, thank you guys for watching my YouTube channel. Welcome to Jason's Gardening and More. Remember to like, remember to subscribe. There will be more on these worm compost bins as we go forward. Thank you for watching. You're not sorry, bro. I'm gonna take out some of them and give you some in a bag.